Yo, what's up guys? Dragon Ball Dave here, ready to give you another Dragon Ball Daima video. Just gonna give you my thoughts on this episode 7. We got another one in the books, and I've been riding the Daima hype train. I enjoy Daima, so I just want to share my thoughts on it. Episode 7 is entitled Filler. Collar, and it released on November 22nd, 2024. Uh, this was actually the first episode that I wasn't overly excited about. There's a lot of things that kind of it's not a lot of things. It's just the pacing is so. It really is only going to be 20 episodes, as near as I can tell, the entire Daima series. So, we still have 3 Tamagamis to go through. We have so much to do, and we're already almost halfway through. That's something weird. Hopefully at Jump Festa they announce, because there is a Daima panel, that we're going to get more episodes. I really do hope they do that. I hope that this has been successful. I watched it on Crunchyroll and Netflix, and I didn't go to the movies to watch the English dub premiere. I haven't even given it a thought, to be honest, which I should have, just to make sure it's, getting all the support it can. But, this episode may have been a little slow, but it was still, I'm still enjoying Daima, and there was a little bit of lore in here. Plus, yet again, I got another prediction wrong. Or at least we assume so, but I'll get to that as we come to the episode. So, the episode actually opens up at the lookout, and Bulma's going through the time machine, or I'm sorry, the time machine, the spaceship that Shin had, and she says that something's wrong. There's a mineral that doesn't exist on Earth. I mean, she pretty much says like it's an element that she doesn't even know about. Like, so there's something that the plane won't work. The plane won't work. She's not able to fix it. Well, luckily, then Hibis shows up, and they don't even give him much of a big deal about it. They just hop right in the plane and go with him. So, I guess that was kind of neat because, like I said, the pacing is a big issue here with just how little episodes we have. Like I said, I'm not even irritated with it. I thought it's been flowing along fine. But our last episode with that tease with Goku Glorio, I really thought we were going to get a big banger fight today. And we didn't. We didn't. And so, I am glad they kind of moved this part along because I don't really care a whole lot about Hibis getting Bulma and all of them. But I do think I would like it still explained. You guys are already taking so long on everything, so you might as well explain it. But, it's not too big of a deal. But they basically just hop right in the plane with them, and bada bing, bada boom, they're on their way to the demon world. Alright, well then we cut to Goku, Glorio, Pansy, and Shin. They're in the plane in the demon realm, and they get these little puff ball things. I forgot what they said they were called, but they look like a hush puppy, only the Addams Family version, I guess. But it says that they fill you up for a couple of days. I don't remember exactly what she said. I guess I'll just look real quick. But yeah, it's worth 2 meals is what it is. They fill you up for 2 meals, and Goku actually just pops one, pops another, and it shows his belly get big, which is kind of funny. I thought, they did that at the beginning where he got fat, and they've done it a few times in the episodes actually, where Goku's just gotten fat from eating. But like I said, it's cool. I don't know if these are supposed to be like Senzu based or anything like that. Or not based, but like, because you guys remember the Senzu when it originally came out, it just it was enough to fill you up for food for 10 days or something like that. And then in Dragon Ball Super, sometimes it restores your damage, sometimes it restores your energy, sometimes it does both. It's one of those weird things that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they've used it in different ways. And I don't know if there's something more with that here, or if this is just, I don't know if they're going to come in later, but I'm pretty sure they're not, and it's just a little food for Goku. That's why, I made the joke at the beginning as like the episode entitled Filler, because I don't want to call it that. There shouldn't be any filler technically with Daima aside from, the whole thing, Toriyama didn't draw this. He didn't animate this. So, it's a lot of it probably is filler, but it's all supposed to be Toriyama approved. This is about as good as it gets. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually don't see those little dumpling things make another big deal. So after Pansy kind of asks Goku, like, hey, how many are you going to eat, dude? Because he's, just snarfing him down. She wonders how he could even raise a kid and how he's actually a grown-up. And Goku makes the comment that he wasn't really involved. And, that's a funny little thing because, with Goten, this is absolutely true. Like I've made a Dragon Ball Daima timeline video, and this takes place just a few months within the first 3 or 4 months of the year age 775. So, with that in mind, with the Buu saga wrapping up and age 774, Goku hasn't even been here a full year to hang out with Goten. So this is absolutely true about Goten. Now with Goku, Goku missed 8 years of his life, but got one of them back. So that's something that could, Gohan's a little bit different, but at the end of the day, Piccolo and Chi-Chi's influence are probably a lot higher up on Gohan's little, like, how I grew up to be stuff, because I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird line because Gohan definitely thinks his dad's good, and, that can be, I guess, debatable with Gohan, but with Goten, that's a given. He has not done shit for Goten. I don't care what you say. But anyways, then it cuts back. It was just a funny little thing because there you go, the debate's settled. Daima just comes in and settles these 30-year-old debates like it's nothing. I guess it doesn't settle them and just sparks them back up again. But anyways, we then cut back to Hybis and crew on their little spaceship, and it's Hybis, Piccolo, Vegeta, and Bulma. For some reason, Bulma's going, and Kibito stayed back at the lookout, which is, whatever, weird to me. I don't know why. I think they actually mention it. Let me see here. But yeah, I guess it's just he is supposed to guard the temple, the heavenly realm, the lookout, whatever you want to call it. That's one of those weird things too, where it's like, what? So Kibito was ultimately useless, and they just didn't bring him along. Hybis pulls out his little radar thing and is looking at their course, and Bulma's like, oh, that's pretty useful. What kind of stuff you got? And Hybis is like, I don't care about anything but going to the beauty parlor. And Bulma's like, whoa, demons have beauty parlors? And so she thought, she's like, whoa, that's geeky. Well, then Hybis' little dragon radar tracker thing, whatever this thing is, it rings, and he gets a call from King Kadan. But Kadan doesn't really say much when he calls. He just calls, say, hey, Goku and them are going to fight the Tamagami, and call me when you get to the third demon world. And Hybis says yes. And this is kind of one of those things where I was talking about this episode being kind of like filler, because it's then immediate. They didn't actually establish anything there other than Kibito's not coming with us. And then it pans right back to Goku, Pansy, and Shin and their ship. So that it was just kind of like they're just dragging this episode out for whatever reason. Which is, all the other episodes of Daima, even when they weren't action-packed, man, they had all these lore drops, all these lore dumps that just made it like, okay, whatever, I don't care if there's any action right now. I want to find out what you got to tell me. And so it's kind of weird, but whatever. They end up panning back over to, like I said, Glorio, Pansy, Shen, and Goku. And Pansy's like, whoa, Glorio, stop. There's the military police. I don't even know how to say it. But Goma's military police. And they instantly notice their ship, so they pull over to talk to him. Or, I'm sorry, the military, Shin and Glorio decide that it's best to avoid confrontation. And actually, Glorio makes note that Pansy has good eyes because he didn't even see them. But they say it's best to avoid confrontation and to hide. And so they try to move the ship, and the military police thing just shows up right in front of them. So that they're caught right there. Goku's sitting there acting funny, like, oh no, they found us. So, they're going to try to hide Goku now. Well, anyways, they decide that they have no choice but to just, pull over and go with the military police guys. And they're wondering how they tracked them or how they even found them. And then Pansy reveals that when they found them in the prior episode, when Goku was, using the bathroom, that the guy scanned her collar, and so they can track her anywhere. Now, I'm not sure why they would even be looking for her. It's probably because, actually, they're going to tell us why. But prior to, them explaining it, I was wondering, why would they even be looking for you? You didn't do anything. You're just walking in the demon realm. Now, I thought maybe it's because they're, hey, you guys are over here now. And you guys are exploring here. And you guys are all over the place. What are you up to? You look kind of shady. Maybe that's what it is, But anyways, Pansy explains that the collar she has on, everybody in the third demon world has them, except Glorio. And she explains that it was something implemented by Dabura. And so not Goma, Dabura. And it was created by Dr. Arinsu. So that's interesting right there. That shows you that, Arinsu, no matter who's the Demon King, she's about controlling stuff. And she created it. So I've been saying from the get-go that, the Toa look-alike is bad. And the Mirror look-alike too. But, maybe I'll just be right all the way on that. But if not, we definitely have a theme here where Arinsu is trying to pull the strings. Because if everybody's been in a collar made by her from the third demon world, and I'm sorry, if everybody in the third demon world has a collar on made by her, and that happened during Dabura's reign, and it's still going on during Goma's reign, then it's almost like she's pulling strings with something like that. But, whatever, that's kind of interesting. We now know all the collars are on the third demon world, and they all come from Dr. Irinsu. So Goku just kind of thinks like, hey, we can just whoop these guys real quick. And then Glorio says, well, if we become wanted, we won't be able to use warp. But you guys are already wanted, so that was really dumb. That was just, like I said, man, one of those things where they're trying to drag this episode out and prevent a fight. Shin says just pull over. It's not a big deal. He's got an idea. So they pull over, and, the police come, and they search their plane, car, whatever, and they throw all their stuff out, and they're looking everywhere. And Goku actually just uses instantaneous movement, instant transmission, whatever you want to call it, and teleports behind Shin when they go in there to look, and then hides somewhere else. He doesn't even teleport over behind the bush. He just runs over there after, and they're completely oblivious to it. Pansy's like, whoa, what is that? And, Shin again explains that it's, what is it called? The Shinkido? I don't know how to say it. Somebody I'm sure knows. But it's instantaneous movement, and he uses it with ki. And she's like, teleportation, ki, whatever. It's like magic, and it's pretty awesome. And so, that's kind of cool, I guess. Well, I guess it's just that Goku can now use that. And, that's kind of a weird thing there, too, because he could just teleport to, well, he has to know a key or an area or be familiar with it. So perhaps he can't just teleport straight to the Tamagami unless he could sense that there's a higher power level, a higher key than anybody else's. Just search for it. But the Tamagami might not be just exerting full power energy levels just standing there. So whatever. It's cool, though. Goku can do his instant teleportation again, so that's neat. So the military police come up, and they can't find Goku because he used the instant movement. And then they come up and they ask Pansy, like, hey, come here. You're coming with us. We want to question you. And Gloria's like, what for? You didn't find anything. And the military police guy says that they got attacked by some girl the other day, and they think that this could be her. And I'm referring to when we first met Pansy, when she was the mass Majin or whatever. And so he's like, hey, you're coming with me. And Shin's like, it can't be her. She's been with us the whole time. And then he's like, well, maybe that's true, but a brat like her will crack under some questioning pretty quick, so we're taking her in. And then Pansy just pulls out her taser and is like, yeah, it's me, motherfucker, and just fries the guy. And so that's where it gets cracking. They're like, oh, we got to do something. Now, Goku just hides out, and Glorio and Shin actually handle this. And they beat the crap out of these guys. So these guys are not that impressive, I bet there's going to be power scalers out there that'll be like, well, they didn't just get one-shotted by Shin instantly, so they must be above Final Form Frieza. Like, get out of here, man. Like, these guys are fodder. They're all clearly fodder. They knock them all out pretty easily, and then that's pretty much it. Then Goku comes back out. So in the midst of the battle, Glorio and Shin decide to dodge bullets by running straight towards their plane, and so it just gets shot up and destroyed. Which, you think like, oh no, man, again, now they got to go find a plane. Come on, pacing. But they're going to get another plane real quick. They're just going to use the other military police plane. One of the planes gets away. Shin's like, Goku, you're up. And Goku just shoots a blast at it. And I don't know if it killed him or what it did, but they blasted off like Team Rocket from Pokemon. Like, that's how it went. And, that's the first whole part of the first half of the episode. Pansy also has this, ray gun thing. It's not a ray gun thing. It just shoots, little circles out of it or whatever. But it disables their communicators. So these guys aren't going to be able to communicate that, they bumped into Goku and all this stuff. Basically, they're leaving them stranded out in the desert, which is, I guess that's one way to deal with somebody. So because the police actually pulled all their stuff out of the plane, most of their equipment all got salvaged. As they're about to get on the plane to leave, Pansy stops and she's like, "Man, it doesn't matter where we go, they're gonna be able to track me because Buddy just scanned my collar earlier." And Shin's like, "Oh yeah, I guess that could be a problem." And he looks at it, and that's when he's like, "Oh, this is made of the catchinite, or what it called in the dub, catchine, the hardest known mineral in the universe, or whatever." And so the collar around her neck is the same thing that broke the Z sword. That's the same metal or mineral. I'm sorry, which is neat. And we actually find out that it's a metal that can only be obtained on planet Kaishin, where the Glens used to live. So it's actually when Shin made that or whatever, it's like he summoned. I don't know. That's pretty cool. He couldn't go to the demon realm, but he was able to pull metal from the demon realm, or was able at least to materialize it. That's that magic stuff he's got. So that's pretty neat lore. That's so far. That's actually my highlight of the episode. It's we know, and it's called Planet Kaishin is where the Glens live. So remember, I talked about that world core planet thing, and maybe that's the same thing, but like Shingen and Glenn, I'm starting to think that they're just kind of, they're only pulling from the super exciting guide, and they're actually just going with their own direction. They're adding new stuff. Like I said, it was originally, they all came from the kaiju tree. It was one tree. Now we know this. There's 5 Glen trees. It was called the World Core Planet. Now it's called Planet Kaishin. So that's, this is good lore building, and I do like this. Like I said, this is probably my highlight of the episode so far. But Pansy says that they're, the collars are pretty much indestructible. And Shin's like, yeah, that's true. And then she says that in the third demon world, when you're born, the government takes you and they put a collar on you. If you try to fight it or resist it, you just get killed. And it's kind of like an eerie thing that she says. And when she does, Glorio just kind of turns his head and walks away. I don't wonder if that's something that like happened to him, because he doesn't have a collar on. Maybe he knows he lost somebody, and that's why he's on this mission to upset the balance or whatever. I don't know for certain with that. It's one of those things where like I said, I've been saying Glorio is kind of a shady character, but it's because he looks like Mira and has purposely been lying to us. He might not be bad. He might not actually be bad. But the way he walked away there was another thing that made me feel like, why'd you just walk away? Like, you don't want to hear that shit, huh? You don't believe it? And it's clearly true, but anyways. Oh, it was actually Shin here that says that no doubt Dr. Rinsu created him. It wasn't Pansy earlier, so I kind of misspoke on that. But the collars actually, they grow along with you as you get older. So that's kind of also a little neat thing. Like I said, this whole little, coming back from the midway through the episode, this is where they've dumped some lore on us, which is, what's going to save the episode for me, because I like that lore building. But anyway, Shin goes ahead and tells her, it's like, well, yeah, that is bad. You want me to just take it off? And she's like, we can't take it off. He's like, I'm a Glend. I think I can get it off. And he does a little spell. It's like Pan Paka Pan or something like that. And that actually gets it to where the collar just shatters. He breaks it off, and she's like, whoa, that's amazing. How'd you do that? And he's like, yeah, it's nothing or whatever. And she asks, like, is that something that only Glens can do? Because no other magic spell would break it. Is that something that only Glens can do? And Shin says, no, anyone can do it. And she gets super excited, saying, thank you, and we need to go to the third demon world now and help everybody, get out of these collars and not be slaves, essentially. Which is neat, that's neat. She did say there's a lot of unruly demons there earlier. So, the collars are, for some of them, that might be a good thing. But the concept as a whole is definitely just evil. Like, it's like slavery, pretty much. So, yeah, that's bad. Then she says thanks, and she asks Shin his name again, and he responds Shin. And she says, that's your name in the outside world, right? What's your name on the inside? Like, from your birth name, from here, the demon world. And Shin says Nahare, which, that's a whole new name. We never knew that. Dragon Ball Super definitely said his name was Shin. And, Goku had no idea. So this is another one where, sorry, DBS, you're out. But Goku had no idea what his name was. And even goes along with this and says, hey, yeah, Nahare, huh? I'm going to start calling you that. And he says, it doesn't fit right. I'm just going to call you Kaioshin. And so, when he never uses Nahare ever again. I guess that kind of that fixes that a little bit, but I still think DBS is out, guys. So, anyways, as they prepare for takeoff, because Goku says he's just going to stick with Kaioshin. As they prepare for takeoff, the name, anyways, Glorio points out that he's like, hey, this ship is actually, twice as fast, or he says they can move twice as fast as the other one, and it doesn't shake. And Pansy had mentioned that it was the latest model. But then Glorio's like, oh, no, man, we need a pin, because the pin numbers for Warp to go to the second and first Demon World, which they'll have to do after they defeat the Tamagami, if they even do beat the Tamagami. They have to have a pin number, and it's like you can't use the same pin number for every ship, I guess. It's different for each one. So Shin's like, oh no, we got another issue because we don't have a pin for Warp. And Pansy has no issue with this at all. She calls one of her buddies. She's like, hey, I need a pin number for one of these military police ships we stole. And he's like, oh, good for you, and just kind of types in a pin number for him. Now, he's a bug-looking character. My highlight for him was that he's another demon, and he doesn't have pointy ears. So that pointy ear shit is out the window to me. Like, it's not a given that you have to have pointy ears to be from the demon realm. We have several demons now. As a matter of fact, his ears are very similar to Majin Buu's. But he doesn't look anything like Majin Buu. And his little he's like a hacker is what it looks like. But he's, he instantly gets them the pin. And like I said, this was something that they almost set it up like, oh man, their plane's destroyed. Oh man, the pin. Oh man, Pansy's collar. We have all these things that are going to like set this back. And they just instantly went over him. Which kind of makes it like, well, why did we even introduce the issue then? Like this episode, like I said, I called it filler at the beginning because it's like that it is just padding. Like they're building up for the next episode. I don't know why they didn't want Goku and the Tamagami to square off in this episode. But apparently they didn't. But anyways, he's able to get the pin number for him. 1022. And he says, anything. Your wish is my command, princess. So he's definitely loyal to her. Hold on a second. But then Peril, that's his name. Peral, Paral, whatever. He says that Hybus has actually arrived with Vegeta and company. And they're like, oh yeah, cool. Pansy's like, so should we wait here and meet up with them? And Goku's like, nah, we're kind of in a rush. And I wonder if that's the pacing talking there. Like that's Goku's like little subtle acting as us, the audience, in a sense. Like, nah, we're in a rush. I want to go fight these Tamagami. And that's what he says, actually. I'm in a rush. I want to go fight the Tamagami. And Shin's like, good grief, because he realizes that, like, oh my god, this guy just doesn't want to share the battle with anybody. And now at this point, this is a weird thing, though, because Goku definitely got his teleportation down. He should have just teleported straight to them to get them. Like, you don't have to have... Vegeta's still going to take turns with you fighting. You guys already know how you do. So this is one of those things where Goku could have just teleported to them real quick and then teleported back. But he has chosen not to for whatever reason. Now, I don't know for sure if they can communicate. I'm pretty sure they can communicate with King Kadon. She just called her buddy Peril. So yeah, they can communicate with King Kadon, who can communicate with Hybus, who is right there with Piccolo, Vegeta, and company. So literally it's just, hey, tell Kadon to tell Hybus to tell Vegeta to amp his energy up. Goku teleports to him, brings him back. They're all caught up. He doesn't want to do that for whatever reason. He wants to... It's not good enough just to fight the Tamagami first. Goku has to see him first, and Vegeta can't know, I guess. Or at least that's what I get out of it, So it then pans to Vegeta and company, and, they're all standing in the demon realm, including Bulma, and she's completely unfazed by the air. She just thinks it smells bad. This is something I'm like, what? Are you guys even trying? We knew from the outro, I pointed out a few reviews back, that Bulma does move around in the demon realm. Now, I wondered if maybe they were just gonna, because sometimes the stuff that's in the intro and outros isn't always in the episodes, but this is undoubtedly, she is in the demon realm. It just stinks, apparently. I don't know how Goku could have a hard time moving, and she couldn't. I think the best way I want to try to explain this now would be like swimming. And somebody's going to be like, what? But like underwater when you're moving, you don't move as like fast as you would even if you tried to swing your arm just as fast. If you're swinging underwater, it doesn't move quite as fast. And so maybe that's what's happening with Goku getting used to the air. Because this is also going to have to happen for Vegeta now. Even if Vegeta's gotten used to his body over these past few days, he's got to get used to this demon realm air. So like I said, maybe it's like water and it just slows you down a little bit. And so if you're just a normal mediocre swimmer or whatever, like Bulma's like a normal human being, it's like you're not going to notice the resistance as much. Maybe that's what it is, I guess. But this was that was it. Kadon talks to Hybis and tells him, "Hey, I need you to go ahead and stay with them and meet up with Pansy's plane and all that." And Hybis is like, "Well, I have a date." And Kadon's like, "No, you don't, and I'll get you some food." And he's like, "Well, I just want one large pizza with worms." He's like, "You can have as many as you want." He's like, "I just want one." So that lets us know that Hybis is going to stay with them, not just abandon them. Kadon says something like he's the only one that knows this demon world, and I don't think he's meaning like he's the only one in all of history or anything, but he's the only one amongst those guys with Bulma's group that does know the demon realm. Well, the third demon world for sure. And so that's what that's about. But that's all that was. They just let us know that Hybis is staying with them, and then it pans right back to Glorio, Pansy, and Goku and Shin again. Like I said, we're just jumping back in the ships here and not actually establishing anything. We have a little bit of lore drops, but it's one of those things where it's like, what are they doing? I don't get it. But as they pan to it here, they actually have Glorio say, "Hey, we've made it. We're gonna be there. Do you want to go face the Tamagami now?" And Goku's like, "Yes, of course. Let's go." So they go up to the Tamagami, and he's got his Dragon Ball in his chest. Now I pointed out in the preview stuff, you can see the Dragon Ball up in that tree beside him, but it's a big Dragon Ball. And Goku even points out the one in his chest is actually like the Namek size ones. So it's good. It's good sized Dragon Ball. It's bigger than the ones on Earth. But I'm curious to how that's going to play out because there's that giant one there. Glorio's like, "Hey, you're going to fight him one-on-one." Goku's like, "Yeah." He's got a big hammer. Glorio's like, "You got a stick." And I think Glorio's going to like jump in or do something like dirty. Like, "Hey, we need to get this. We're on a mission. We don't have time for fair fights." Oh, excuse me. But then Goku's like, "Oh, I need to eat first." And Pansy's like, "Are you serious?" So they go over to a little bar and they ask the guy like, "Hey, how do we challenge the Tamagami?" He's like, "Anybody can. You just go up, but you need to give up beforehand because if you don't, then you're gonna get killed." And Goku's not worried about it. And then Pansy makes the comment that she heard not even Dabura could beat this Tamagami specifically, from what I can tell from the subtitles. So I've been saying from the get go, man. Daizenshu said it. Dabura himself said it. Shin said it back in Buu. Dabura was the strongest in the demon realm. That is clearly not the case now. Now, Pansy does say she heard, so maybe Dabura did try before. Who knows? Maybe Dabura tried to. That's why he started working with Babidi. Maybe he got beat up by a Tamagami and then decided he's like, well, I'll get this Majin power up. But he wasn't able to resist Babidi's influence, so he just did whatever Babidi said. Who knows? At this point, though, I'm going to go ahead and say I was just, I was wrong. Or, maybe not I was wrong. It was just 30 plus years of lore about Deborah was wrong. But, it is what it is. That's cool. It's actually good for the Tamagamis to be strong. I didn't want them to surpass Dabura. I was hoping Goku was going to be, weakened. But they are ahead of Dabura, so let's see what they got. I mean, we know they're still weaker than Majin Buu, presumably. So, I mean, they're definitely still weaker than Buu. I'm not going for that one. They might be stronger than Dabura, whatever, but they're not stronger than Buu. But anyways, Goku then, he fills up his belly, and then he goes to square off with the Tamagami. He challenges him, and the Tamagami actually, screams obnoxiously, and he's like, "If you want to fight, get up here." And that's pretty much, what happens. That's kind of how the episode ends for up to that point. But yeah, that's pretty much how the episode ends. The Tamagami instantly is ready to go. He's like, "Hey, you want the Dragon Ball?" Goku's like, "Yeah, I do." And so they square off, and that's how it ends. So they have finally reached the third Tamagami, and there's no denying the next episode's finally going to give us our good fight. Been waiting for it. we're finally going to see, what happens with Goku versus the Tamagami. Now, I don't know if Goku's actually going to beat the Tamagami or if he's going to lose and they're going to have something else go down. But based on the pacing, I think Goku is going to win. If Goku wins with Super Saiyan, by the way, then I'd argue that maybe Ponzi was just making speculation about Dabra and stuff. Because she said she heard. Because I think that I think they all needed Super Saiyan 2 just to beat Dabra. I think that's what the theme of that was. That, he's the strongest Cell, and if we just got serious, we could beat him. If we just go beyond Super Saiyan, he'd been tough 7 years ago, but he ain't tough now. And so I think that's kind of what that was. We definitely see in the next episode preview, which is entitled Tamagami, that, Goku's squaring off with him. He's dodging the hammer. The Tamagami is dodging stuff from the sticks. And we actually see Goku. It's very brief, but we see that Goku's in Super Saiyan. It actually shows, the preview starts out with him in base, and then it shows a quick scene of him in Super Saiyan, and the Tamagami blasts the ground. And then it pans back to Goku, using the power pole, fighting the Tamagami in base. So he is going to go to Super Saiyan to deal with this. And I think that's going to be, I think when he does go Super Saiyan, the Tamagami is going to tell him that I've never met anybody as strong as you. And if that's the case, then I guess Dabura was weaker than Super Saiyan. Gohan just sucks. And that's all there is to it, I guess. But I'm excited for this next episode. Like I said, this episode was kind of slow. It's called Collar. I jokingly called it filler because it did seem like it was padding to get to the Tamagami. Now, we do see Glorio in the next episode preview is on the phone with somebody, likely a Rinsu. And then it actually shows Dr. Rinsu, and there's somebody she's talking to with a necklace right there. I don't think that's what Hybis necklace looked like, was it? I don't really remember. But she's sitting on a machine that looks like, I don't know, a hookah? I don't know what to call it. But I have a feeling that it's going to be very similar to the machine that was absorbing the life of the demons in episode, I want to say 3 or 4, one of them. Yeah, episode 3. It was episode 3, Daima, when the military police are zapping the coins or the life from the demons and putting it in that jar. I've heard people say that was like an Arinsu creation, and I think now you're right on the money with that if you said that. But, that's this being, whoever it is she's talking to, he's got like an aura. And it can't be Hybis, because, the next little scene here shows Hybis. It's definitely not Hybis. But it's somebody with a necklace on that's like, I don't know, but they have an aura coming off of them like crazy. So I wonder if it's a creation she made or what. Because, for some of the leaks we got way back when, we heard about like these things she's going to make like Majin Du and Majin Ku. I don't know if that's actually going to be their names. We don't know a lot about that. But that is something that is supposed to happen. And I do think it is, on the horizon. So, that'll be interesting. I think they're going to have a couple of little funny gag scenes of, them farting in the spaceship based on, Bulma's reaction, Vegeta's reaction. They're all looking irritated. Piccolo, too. And Hybis has this just look on his face. Maybe Bulma farted. Maybe it was Hybis. I don't know. Or maybe it's just the smell in there. I don't know. I think it's going to be a replay of that goofy little joke with Goku and Shen. But that's pretty much it. We do see Degasu and Goma. Goma's surprised about something. And that's literally pretty much it. We, like I said, Goku does square off with the Tamagami. And that's pretty much where it ends. We're hyped for next week. I can't wait to see what happens. We're going to get a good fight, I believe. And, I didn't see any Dragon Ball GT parallels in this episode. Now, that's something that I've been pointing out each episode, that there's a Dragon Ball GT parallel. I didn't find one. Maybe I overlooked it. Maybe I didn't care as much because this episode disappointed me. Or it didn't disappoint me. It was like, come on, man. I'm hype every week for this. This is the first episode where you guys put me at a standstill. But, we'll find out in due time. So, if you watch, thanks for watching. Go ahead, let me know your thoughts about it. All right.